Hello folks, Fuzzfinger here and welcome to this tutorial video where I am going to show you how to install graphical mods into Final Fantasy VIII. Before I do start, just a heads up that what you're seeing now is not the game with the mods installed. This is basically for comparison the original graphical version of the game so we can see it in all its original 1999 glory. So I did actually complete recently my Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play series, which you can find on my YouTube channel, where I went through the entire game from start to finish, including all the optional side quest content, and people seemed to enjoy that and found it helpful. But I'm making this video because a lot of people who watched that asked me how I got the game looking so good. So I did put links to the mods in all of those videos, but in this video I'm actually going to show you how to install everything, and hopefully I can stop answering everybody's questions on how I did it and just point them to this video. So let's just get one quick shot of the world map as well, because there's going to be some changes happening to that once we've installed the mods, and we'll see how that used to look in the original game. Okay, so here we are on the Trebia continent with the original Final Fantasy VIII graphics and the original Final Fantasy VIII music. There's also a mod I'm going to show you can set up to replace the music with higher quality files that doesn't use this MIDI sound. What I would ask guys is if you do enjoy this video, please do go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, but also hit the like button as well and post a comment letting me know if you're going to use these mods with your playthrough. And another little bit of a comparison we can make is from the menus. You can see the text in this game is a little bit blurry. We're going to be sorting all that out. Now, none of these mods we're about to install actually really change the graphical style or anything like that. It's all very subtle. It keeps the same graphic style, which is what I really love about these mods. But it just, you know, crisps them up a bit and adds a few more polygons. So anything else I want to say before we actually move on? I think that's it. I'm going to now show you the comparison of what the game looks like and sounds like with the mods installed, and then I will show you how you can actually set this up in your game itself. If you don't own Final Fantasy VIII, or you own an older version and want to update so that you can actually do this graphical mod trick, then I'll put a link in the video description as to where you can buy the Steam version of the game for actually cheaper usually than on Steam itself. I picked it up from G2A for about £4 or £5 I think. It usually hovers around that price, but I put a link down there and it's usually about a tenner on Steam, so it is a bit cheaper. But anyway guys, let's have a look now how the game looks with the mods installed. Okay guys, and here we are back in game. You can see there have been subtle changes, and you'll see more of that as we head to the Dalit save, but also listen to this music. I can't actually play it for too long because it will end up flagging on YouTube's copyright system due to the fact that it's so close to the original soundtrack. But I'm going to just show you the menu briefly. You can see all the text is vastly improved, although the changes are subtle, as I suggested they would be. But let's go and have a look at that Dalit pub now. So I'm just going to load up the Dalit save now. And I'm going to link to all of these mods, of course, as to where you can download them. And that will also credit the authors. So by all means, head over to their posts on the Kim forums and give them a thank you if you do use these mods. And I do recommend that you do. You know, once you've not played Final Fantasy VIII for several years, you can forget how dated it has got. It does come from that PlayStation era. Especially when you've played more modern games. Sometimes you'll head back to it and think, whoa, you know, is this what it used to look like? But these graphical mods, they're so subtle. But, you know, they do keep that original graphical style. But they do bring it as well a little bit more into the 21st century. And yeah, you know, you can still tell it's an old game, and there's a few glitches here and there, but things look a heck of a lot better than they did before. So I'm going to show you now how you can set these mods up in your own game and play with them yourself. Okay, so to download the mods, we're going to want to head to the Kim forums. That's Kim spelled Q-H-I-M-M, and if we just head to forums.kim.com, then you'll be at the right place. And we're going to want to download some graphical mods first of all. By the way, there's a whole modding scene that takes place on this forum for Final Fantasy, not just for Final Fantasy VIII, but also for other games, including Final Fantasy VII, which also has a big modding scene. But we're going to stick with Final Fantasy VIII for today. And you can see there's also gameplay mods. I'm personally not going to be showing you how to install those because I didn't use them in my walkthrough. but you're welcome to have a look at them if you want to. They alter all sorts of things. You can have difficulty mods if you want to increase the difficulty, or you know, whatever else that might be available in there, so by all means have a browse. But for today we're going to be sticking to those mods that I've already spoken about. So we're going to start by heading to the graphical mods section. And if we head to this first thread here, the Tombury Master List Final Fantasy VIII Mods Progress, then this is a great thread created by Mackinda, so I apologise if I've pronounced his name wrong, but he's pretty much lumped all the mods we need in one place. So the first mod we're going to download is the Tombury Enhanced mod. You can see the link to it is just over here. So this is the bread and butter mod by which all the other mods we're going to download will be allowed to function. So this will actually set up the modding in the game so that everything else works. And you can just go ahead and download the latest version, which is version 2.04. So these mods are quite popular and the authors don't get paid for making them. You know, they're just fans like us. So you'll want to support them perhaps, and many of these authors let you know how you can do that. But whether you do or not, all these mods are available for free. But download the Tombury Enhanced 2.0.4. You can actually just hit the download icon over here, and that should download the file for you as a zip file or a RAR file. If you can't open RAR files for whatever reason, then you'll want to just download RAR Lab. You can get a free version of it if you type it into Google, and then you'll be able to extract these, no problem. So I've already downloaded the mod, so I'm not actually going to do it, I'm just showing you how. So as you can see, this link seems to be working fine, which is good. We can go ahead and download Tombury Enhanced, and then the other mods we need to download are as follows. For now then, we can just close the Tombury thread and head back to the master thread over here. And the mods that you're going to want to download are pretty much all listed for you in a nice order. So you'll want to grab Seed Reborn, and you'll want to grab Horizon Pack, Project Eden, basically just all of the things that you want to improve in the game. You get a brief description as to what each mod does. So some of these mods are actually relatively new. Project Hellfire, for example, I don't think I've actually installed that one myself, so I'm not sure how that looks, what exactly it changes in regards to the Guardian Forces that are listed here, but maybe that's something you can experiment with. And there was another one around here as well that I haven't been able to try myself yet. Oh, it's the Battlefield pack, and that actually includes replacements for some of the battle areas that you'll see in Final Fantasy VIII. So this must be another new one as well, since it wasn't around when I played the game myself. But just download all of these, and just these ones here that are currently completed, and I'll show you then how you can get them installed and working. The other graphical mod that I want to show you is actually not located in graphical mods, but in other mods. If you see the other mods link here, just head down to the other mod releases, which is just underneath. And the mod I want to show you is this Final Fantasy VIII controller buttons for PlayStation and Xbox 360. Now this is a handy little mod. If you've ever played the Final Fantasy VIII PC version before, you'll know that a lot of time throughout the game, when it shows you what controller buttons to press, it puts it in a horrendous fashion, such as B1, press B3, and all that kind of nasty stuff. And a lot of mini games in Final Fantasy VIII require quick precision on the controller with which keys to press, and when it tells you all these confusing button names, then you know it just becomes a bit of a nightmare really. So this mod fixes that, so you can use the PlayStation or Xbox control pad, and as you can see in game, it replaces the default button names with actual controller buttons from those gamepads. So it's a very useful mod. You'll probably want to go ahead and download it. You do need to download a different version depending on which controller you're going to use, but the links are there, so you can download whichever one you need. And I'll show you how to download the audio mod in a little bit, but for now let's get these other ones set up and installed. Right, so now you should have all of the mods you want to use downloaded and extracted as well. and you'll want to put them in a nice organised place. So here I've got all the mods I've downloaded in one folder, which I've just called FF8. And you can stick that obviously wherever you want, on your desktop or wherever. This is just so everything's organised and we can install everything one by one. The first mod we're going to want to install, you might have guessed, is Tombury Enhanced, since, as I suggested, it is the core mod that allows all these other mods to function. So to install it, dead easy, just open it up. It will need to be extracted, or at least that'll make things easier. And if you just highlight all these files that are inside, you'll have a textures folder, a Tombury folder, and 3 DLL files. DLL files are just special files that will allow the mod to function. And once everything's selected, we can just right click and copy, so that copies those into the computer's memory. And then we need to locate our Final Fantasy VIII folder itself. So if you have the Steam version, then just pretty much see where I'm going to go and you'll be able to do the same. If you don't have the Steam version, if you have an older PC version, then it's probably just going to be located in either a Square Enix folder or a Final Fantasy VIII folder on your hard drive. But we're going to head over now to the Steam folder. So from your program files, it's usually going to be on your main C drive, but for me it's on the D drive. But you're going to head to the program files x86, and there you're looking for Steam. And in the Steam folder, you want to open the Steam Apps folder, and then the Common folder, and then scroll down to Final Fantasy VIII. Well, you might not have to scroll down, depends how many games you've got installed. And there we have the main Final Fantasy VIII root directory. This is what we're aiming to find. So all we have to do first of all to install Tombury is right click in the empty space and select paste. As you can see, I've already got it installed. That'll copy the Tombury folder, the textures folder, and those DLL files straight into your Final Fantasy VIII directory, and now you're all set up and good to go, ready to install all the other graphical mods. Right now, if you loaded Final Fantasy VIII up, it'd work fine, but you wouldn't see anything different because you've only installed the bare bones of the mods. Okay, so this is where things might seem a little bit confusing, but it really doesn't have to be that way. Okay, it is actually quite simple, but because we're installing a lot of mods at once here, things can get a little bit head scratching. So the first thing we need to do, we'll just break this up a little bit. In each of these mods, we're going to be looking for a folder with 2 letters. Now some of these mods, such as Seed Reborn for example, will have a bunch of folders with 2 letters. That's fine. We need all of these 2 lettered folders, okay, because these are the folders that contain all of the textures that are going to improve our game. So starting in my case with Apocalypse, since it's at the top, we'll open it up and look for the 2 lettered named folder. In this case, this folder entitled BO. And we right click it and copy it. And we want to install that into our textures folder. Remember, this is the folder we copied over when we installed Tombury. So we just double click it, right click in the white space and hit paste. And that's going to install that folder for you. As you can see, I've already got it nicely installed. It's ready to go. Once we've done that, we want to just go back and access our next mod. In this case, the controller buttons for my Xbox 360 gamepad. We'll open up the texture contents, and there's the folder. And not all of them will have these files, that's fine, you can just move on. The Rebirth Flame does have the hash map file, so we'll copy that. And then when you click next, it's going to install everything for you. And you might want to make a backup of your original files before you do so. I'm not going to run setup because I've already installed the soundtrack. But if you want to make a backup of the original game music before you go ahead and install, as a matter of fact, I think it might do this for you, but just to be on the safe side in case it doesn't, if you head to the Final Fantasy VIII directory, common, so many folders I get myself confused, Final Fantasy VIII, and where are we, data is where it's going to install to, then music, then just rename the dmusic folder as dmusic-backup, or in my case I've just renamed it -original, so we can easily go back to it if we want to by deleting the one that the mod installs and renaming the original back to just the folder name. In fact, I had to do that when I did my Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play on YouTube because it did flag up for copyright with the awesome new music. But anyway guys, that brings us to the end of my little tutorial, so I hope it's helped you. And let me know if you're going to play the game with these mods installed. As always guys, if this video has been enjoyable and helpful to you, please do go ahead and hit the like button. and subscribe to my YouTube channel to be kept up to date with future video releases. And don't forget as well, when you subscribe, you now have to hit a lovely little bell notification next to the subscribe button, which is a feature YouTube have recently included, or you won't actually be notified of any future uploads. But thanks for joining me today, folks. I've been Fuzzfinger, your host once again, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.